Restaurant Radio.
Live from Chicago, the food and restaurant capital of America. Heard on great affiliates all around the country. Restaurant Radio with Dane, Neal, and Tom Reboletti. The website, restaurantradio.tv. And of course, you can find us on Twitter at Restaurant Radio. I think Facebook at Restaurant Radio as well. Tom, you start every morning with a cup of coffee.
Or two.
Now, you know you're ahead of the game if you can start it with a cup of Marley coffee. On the line with us now, the son of the legendary musical icon and the man behind Marley Coffee. It is Rohan Marley. Rohan, welcome to the show.
Oh, greetings. Thank you for having me this morning.
It's our pleasure.
Well, Rohan, let's talk about it. I mean, you had a history. Obviously, your dad was a very famous musician, but you chose to kind of take an athletic route, football player for a long time. But after a while, you decided to get back to your roots, get back to Jamaica, and do coffee of all things.
Yes. Well, honestly, farming has always been in my family. My grandmother, she was a farmer. My great-grandmother was a farmer. Grandfather was a farmer. My father, he started out as a farmer, So I didn't get the blessing of the singing too much, So I had to try and find my blessing, which was in farmland. And how that happened, in 1999, a friend of mine introduced me to a property in Portland, Jamaica, which is in Chepstow. So at the time, I had no clue I was going to be in farming or anything, or even in coffee per se. So when I saw the land, the river on the property was just a river that I've never seen before in my life. It's called the Spanish River. And the river is so beautiful. The only thing I could say was, how can I refuse this? How much is the land? We want the land, we want the property just because of the river. So now I purchased this big property, this 50-odd acres of land, and it's land and there's people in the community that used to work on the land prior. So I asked the people in the community, I said, what's on this property? What's the property about? And he said, Mr. Marley, well, you have coffee on the land. I said, coffee? When they told me coffee, I smiled because I'm like, coffee like oil? Coffee? So my next gesture was to them, I said, listen, I don't know anything about coffee, but I'm willing to learn from you guys, the people from the community. But the only thing they had to promise me for me to get involved in coffee, that they wouldn't use any chemicals on the property. So that's how the whole organic move began. And the first thing they said to me was, Mr. Marley, it won't work. There's no way you can have the yield in if you don't use it. I said, listen, if you use any chemicals on this land, I will cut every coffee tree down. Yeah, so you won't have a job, and the land will be just bush. So are you going to do it my way, or we'll just let the land continue to bush up? I'll come and jump in the river, and I won't even care about the farm. And they said, Mr. Marley, we'll do it your way.
There you go. Well, the thing is that more and more people are appreciating the farm element, trying to learn exactly where the stuff that they're having is coming from, and also the organic movement. So the fact that you were into that, and that's something that you were demanding as far as what the farm was doing, is kind of dovetailed in with what's going on. People really appreciate the kind of things that you're doing.
Yeah, man, and I mean, it would be only right for me to do it this way, because if I'm going to eat from the land, and being a Rastafari, we kind of like our food Aital. Aital is just the layman way of saying organic. That's our way of saying organic without the certification, just eating the food natural from the earth. So if I were to do that, I mean, I would have it no other way but to become an organic farm. But what I did, my brother, I created a coffee company. So instead of me just having Blue Mountain coffee from the land in Jamaica, I partnered up with some folks in Jamaica that has been farming for years and years and years, so I can supply more of the yield in. And they're on their way to becoming certified organic. They're now part of the Rainforest Alliance. I traveled to Ethiopia to study and learn about the origin of coffee, the birthplace of coffee, because when I was growing up, they said Rastaman never really drink coffee. So I said, what do you mean Rastaman don't drink coffee? And coffee come from Ethiopia, So I had to go learn for myself. So I went to Ethiopia, learned about coffee, and what I came back with, I said, you know what? The farm in Jamaica was my ideology of becoming a coffee farmer and also of becoming into the coffee business. So I didn't want to just limit the company to Blue Mountain Coffee because, my father, being a universal man that he is, and his children only follow in his footsteps because, we love everyone. So I wanted to create a company that I can have Ethiopian coffee, I can have coffee from Guatemala, Papua New Guinea, South and Central America, and create a Marley coffee company, as well as have my own coffee on the property that I can include in those SKU of coffees, adhering to those principles, fair trade, being kosher certified, being halal certified, being organic certified, doing those things that really match up to who we say we are overall, not just on my farm, but the other farms that we deal with. They have to adhere to these same principles,
One good thing to be able to have a great product and then have a principle on which you're going to stand on as far as the quality and the thought processes behind even the other companies that you work with. But here's what you're doing. It's one thing to have it. It's another thing to share it with everybody else. And now here in America, Marley Coffee and the coffees that you represent are being made available. I've heard great things about them. So where can people enjoy them?
Well, Marley Coffee, you can find it in Whole Foods in the U.S. on the West Coast, because we're a small entity and we're growing our distribution, and we're in Dinaluca, New York. You can also find us on MarleyCoffee.com, where you can learn about the company and purchase all the coffee you want. And we're in Canada. We're in the Sobeys in Canada. We're in a couple of months. We're in about 500 stores to date. And then we've also launched the OCS business now. We're into the hospitality, and that's from Jam and Java Corp. The Jam and Java Coffee, I created that entity now to service the OCS business, hospitality, office coffee, the service of coffee.
Sure.
And Marley Coffee stick with the retail stuff,
Very good. Well, Rohan, are you thinking of yourself to become a coffee icon, like Juan Valdez is with the coffees of Colombia, where people see you and they think that you are a coffee expert? Is that what it is?
I want when people see Rohan Marley, they think of Jamaica industry, the farmers trying to do something good for people. I want them to think about how do we become a part of what Rohan's doing, where we can help to uplift the rural areas of any country, whether it's Jamaica, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, any country, Colombia, all diverse, all nationalities, That's what I want them to think about Rohan Marley. That Rohan Marley is a part of a universal movement to create love through, whether it's coffee, whether it's just living and loving. That's what I want them to think about. How can I help? How can we help someone else? That's what I want. Icon stuff is my father.
Well, but Rohan, come on. It's an exciting thing to be able to, have a business, support the local economy, do what you're doing. But you got to think about it like this, too, is if you want people to start their day off on the right foot, usually that happens with a cup of coffee. And if it's Marley coffee.
A cup of Marley coffee, yes.
There you go. It'll be the way people say good morning. Rohan, tell people where they can go online and get more information about everything that's going on.
Yeah, please go to MarleyCoffee.com as well as JamandJavaCoffee.com. And you can learn all about the things I've been doing for the past, I would say, 12 years, and then where we started. Yeah, MarleyCoffee.com is the place to be, and we can find out all those little intricate details about the company, the beginnings of the company, and why and how and where and when.
All right, Rohan Marley from Marley Coffee, MarleyCoffee.com. Thanks so much for being in Restuaranr Radio.
Oh, God bless you. Yeah, greetings. This is Rohan Marley from Marley Coffee. And you listen to Dane and Tom on the Restuaranr Radio. Rastafari be with I and I and I.
Restuaranr Radio.